new chapter. Kind of start a new project. Just gonna go ahead and start digging into it. What we're gonna do here is we're actually gonna LS swap the wife's Ford like. We're gonna LS swap. We're gonna take out this 351 Windsor and we're gonna put in an L. Oh, I can't even say it.
Hey, Terry, throw my finger.
Wow, what the hell is that?
My ass.
Alright, guys. For real, what's up though? Everybody meet Midas. This is our new puppy. I guess we technically saved him, because I don't know if you can see it or not. Right here. Guy's only got one ear. As adorable as he is, and wild as he is, perfectly healthy dog, only got one ear. They want nothing to do with him, so we love him now. Yeah, we kind of got a house full of misfit dogs. It's just kind of theme, so it's nothing new to bring home a new fluffy buddy. There you go, be free. But on a real note, what we are gonna do is I am finally actually gonna dig into the wife's lightning, and no, clearly, obviously, I'm not LS swapping this thing. Mama didn't raise no quirk. Gay! So no, I'm not taking out a very respectable good power plant to put in something that's just so dramatically overdone that has ruined even going to car shows or racing events anymore, because everything is just the same. Everything is Detroit Steelies and LS swaps, and everything is just boring. So no, we're not doing that here. But I have a feeling that this thing is chewing up its cam. I'm gonna fire it up here in a minute, as much as I don't want to let you hear it scream like a banshee. And then I don't know how far I'm gonna get into it, but I'm gonna start disassembly. By the end of the episode, I'd at least like to be looking at the cam and lifters, seeing what we're dealing with. And also, last time I checked the oil in it, there was a whole bunch of fuel in there. So I don't know if an injector is sticking open or if it's blowing past the rings or what. But long story short, that engine needs to come out. New rings, new bearings. I have to find probably a new cam and lifters. I guess that I assume that thing's eating itself alive. But this is gonna be a full-blown project. This truck is super clean in spots, also kind of super rough in spots. It's been repainted and just all of its clear's flaking off. Like, it's almost completely off of the hood here now. So we're gonna sand all the way down through this clear. I'm gonna replace these mirrors. I know it needs new core support bushings. It's got some rust coming over that side right there. That's easily the worst spot of the truck. And it's got a spot right there. The factory roll pan, I don't have a whole lot of room. It's got a crack in it. It needs some love. Other than that, this is a super solid truck. Oh, I forgot about this little spot right here, which that's for the most part surface, but that'll be all right. And then we need to replace our little dash piece right here, because a switch had fallen out of it. In my attempt to fix said switch, the dash just disintegrated and all the pins are still stuck in here. But without further ado, what's wrong, buddy? Whoop. Ooh, I bonked you in the head. That's my bad. Come here. Hey, are you gonna make it? I did not mean to bonk you in the head, sir. Come here. No? We're not friends anymore? Well, you're not gonna want to be under there when I start the truck. Oh, you're fine. You're fine, huh? There we go. See, we're friends again, huh? That's my bad. That's my bad. But, alright, guys. Again, as much as I don't want to, I'm gonna fire this up so you can hear it screech, and I'm just gonna start tearing it apart. sounds like metal on metal to me. It's been doing it for a while. It breaks up at like 4,700 RPM where it should be making peak power. So we're just gonna have to dig into it. It sounds so good. Like I said, it just sounds like metal on metal when you fire it up. It idles and revs real good, but it breaks up at like 4,700 RPM where it should be making like peak power. And I'm assuming it's either because of a fuel injector spitting. It smells so rich in here right now. So I'm assuming there's an injector sticking open, and that's probably maybe screwed up the bores, and now it's getting fuel past the rings. And also there's some metal and metal action going on in there somewhere. So at this point in time, I'm just gonna tear, the top end as far as intake manifold, valve covers, and everything off this thing and see what this cam looks like. I'm not really gonna drag you along a whole lot for this. It's relatively simple. I mean, just intake needs to come off, just your throttle brackets and cables or some vacuum lines, and really that's about it. I'm gonna have to get the distributor out of here to get the intake off, valve covers. I mean, this is all super basic Windsor stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kick on some music, and when we come back, I'll probably be like getting the valve covers, intake manifold off, stuff like that, because I just have a feeling this thing's eating up a cam, but we'll see. Got some more stuff out of the way, got the valve covers off, and if you look, maybe I'm just that much of a noob, but this is a bit confusing to me. See how nice and clean this whole side is? These back guys right here are a little milky, but this entire side is milky. So it's a bit confusing to me as to why these are nice and clean. I mean, they were clearly getting oil, but it's clean over here. And over here, milky. So that's a bit confusing. But again, we keep on trucking along, get this intake off, and probably get the water pump off, etc. And see what these cam and lifters look like. Got all the intake manifold bolts out. Everything came out smooth, except for just this one. Front left side, or passenger side, whatever you want to call it. She broke, so that sucks. I do believe these guys run into a cooling jacket, so that's potentially the cause of that. Now, let's see if I can pry this intake off. Maybe. Alright. There she goes. So, at this point in time, probably gonna make me some sort of like cardboard template to try and keep push rods. That guy's bent. As soon as I started wiggling it. You see that? That guy's bent. Well, that's not good. What about the rest of these? Well, so far that I can reach. This guy right here, she's got the wiggles, so that's not good. So we're replacing push rods. At that point in time, I guess it's gonna have to be all new everything. So I guess I can just pull the rockers off and just send this. Wow, rockers, push rods out. All I found was just that one bent one. And it's not even horrible. Let me come over here. I mean, she's got a little bend in her, but at this point in time, I'm gonna start grabbing lifters. See what we got going on. Hope to find something to put these in. And you know, I know that these are supposed to go back in the way that they came out, but I have a funny feeling, like I said, that I'm going to find a bad one, at which point in time they all got to be replaced, as well as the cam. Maybe I'll put them on something anyways. Minimal effort, as I don't think they're going to be good. So, front of this is obviously the front, passenger side, driver side. That's all the effort I'm going to take to keep these organized. So they're just going to go front to back, basically. So number one was good. It looks alright. It's alright. They all look good. I mean, at least potentially that means we don't need a new cam. Okay guys, it's like a day or two later, and I kind of just kept on keeping on. I got the hood, the chin spoiler off. I'm working on getting the bumper off now, and I've kind of just ran through and started disconnecting everything. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the whole doghouse off of this. Reason being, there's just a lot of oddball stuff that needs attention. Like there's a little dent in the bumper, be easier to take care of that off. The chin spoiler is fiberglass, kind of cracked and beat up a little bit, so we'll probably just replace that. And then, like I had showed you, that spot right here. I mean, you could probably buy that section, but for like 80 bucks, you can just get a whole new fender. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the doghouse off. It's gonna make it easier to pull the engine and transmission. And that'll allow me to like get in here and clean up the fireball and everything real nice. It's gonna allow me to get rid of all the grime and mold and stuff kind of growing up in here, because like I said, the whole truck needs painted. And you know, there ain't nothing worse than having like a nice, pristine, clean paint job and popping the hood and seeing they didn't take the effort to do under the hood as well. And this probably, for the most part, what this is going to be is like a restoration. You know, it's got headers, exhaust. I'll probably have like a shift kit thrown in the transmission that needs rebuilt. Reason being, it actually blew a trans line years ago when the wife was driving it, and she didn't notice it till she had driven like all the way across town and it stopped moving. I was able to kind of patch up the line to get her home, but the transmission has never been quite the same since. It kicks in and out of overdrive. So I mean, we'll just send it out, get it rebuilt. So it was just, I know it seems like a lot of work, but there's a lot of work to be done, and trying to do all of it with everything in the way is just going to be a super pain in the ass. So I'm going to take the effort in an organized manner as much as I can, kind of throw everything off to the side, get this whole doghouse off, and then we'll worry about getting that engine and transmission out. We'll get this stuff set off to the side, and that's that, man. I'm gonna kind of just keep on trucking along. I'm sorry that I'm not necessarily dragging you along as much as I normally might. Kind of reason being is there's a lot of wiring and sensors and nuts and bolts and just monotonous bullshit that I'm not necessarily used to. Because as you know, I'm an old school carburetor guy. Like if it was my way, I would just slice and dice all these wires, put a carburetor on it, full send. But because that's an automatic transmission, it's gonna need a throttle positioning sensor and a bunch of extra work and blah, 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 blah. It's just as much work as doing this. So, like I said, I'm gonna keep on moving along, get this front end off of here, and we'll check in when I'm either doing it or close to or somewhere. But stay tuned. Got the bumper off. That was kind of hard and heavy to do by myself. But I'm gonna assume that this thing has been in an accident at some point. Because we got a chunk of plastic missing here, broke, big old hunk missing there. So, I mean, everything fit on here okay. But while this is apart, might be worth trying to see if we can find that shroud or back brace. I'm not even quite sure what you would call that, but I bet we can probably find this at a junkyard relatively easy. Oh, we are super, super close. Little tech tip for anybody trying to pull off one of these front ends. There is a little sneaky bastard hidden. That's the door dinger. Where are you at? There's a bolt hidden in here. At least there was on the other side. I'm going to assume there is on this side too. Let me get the flashlight out. And where you at? There you are. Blurry. Let's see. You see it? It's blurry. But it's right there. And obviously, this front end's not going to come off without that after I fought and wiggled and started taking off the inner fenders and everything. Trying to figure out why I couldn't get these damn fenders off. That's why. It's a little hidden bolt on each side. So after I get that out, I'm going to see if I can acquire my wife's help. Get that front end off. Say, you ready, spaghetti? Ready to go to me? This fender should want to come forward. We're going to go that way. So I'm going to jack the front up, and then you and I are each going to take the fender, and then the jack is just going to magically roll forward with this. Yeah! That's the plan. I'm sure there's a wire or a hose or something that I've not disconnected somewhere. Oh, you look good on your side. And let's be able to hurt yourself with parts there. Let's gently set her down. Big mess. Boom. That'll make that pulling that engine a little easier, huh? Shit, yeah. Woo! Okay. So we did a thing. That wasn't so bad. Again, for not being a wiring guy, and not that I'm actually doing any wire, it was just disconnecting 1,000 of them. I'm very much a simple couple wire, one fuel line, mechanical fuel pump, carburetor kind of guy. But this wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. At this point in time, what I'm gonna want to do is clean up my mess, because as you can see, there's stuff everywhere right now. There's lightning parts everywhere. So I'm gonna clean up my tools, try and half-ass organize some of this stuff, because I think I want to get this over here, which shouldn't be horrible. And then I'm gonna want to get its engine and transmission pulled, which will be really easy now with this gone. And you know, and again, didn't have to do any of this to get the engine out. That was just my personal choice. But then again, like I said, this thing needs painted because its clear coat is flaking off all over. I don't know who previously did the paint job on it, but you can see they maybe the prep wasn't done correctly, or maybe they didn't mix properly, but there's a bunch of primer spots. There's paint peeling off. All of the clear coat is peeling off the hood. It's peeling off the cowl, peeling off the doors. They clear coated over the graphics. That's all flaking. I don't know that the roof has started to flake yet, but I'm sure it's next. And like I said, there's nothing bothers me more than popping the hood of a beautifully done paint job to see, you know, a cowl that looks like that and ender fenders that look like this. So this is going to make it real easy to get all this garbage out of the way. We'll probably upgrade the radiator and fan to probably something similar to what I'm using in Sandy over here in time. Likely before it all goes back together. We will get this intake box and the washer, reservoir, battery tray, and everything out of here so we can fully clean and prep all this. Same thing with the firewall. Once we get the engine and transmission out of here, we can clean up the frame, get it recoated, clean up the firewall, get, you know, all this crap off of here so we can do a legitimately good job. And this is going to be a bit of like a test of my patience, if you will, because I'm more of like a rat roddy, it doesn't need to be perfect kind of guy. I'm more of a like, by no means am I comparing myself to him, but more of like a David Freiberger type of guy. It's like, just get it on the road and just beat the piss out of it and enjoy it. My wife is more of a meticulous, nice thing type of person, and this thing is her baby. So putting this thing back together is going to be a kind of a slow, detailed, meticulously done restoration, if you will. But enough rambling on. I'm going to get this stuff picked up. When we come back, I'm probably going to have this over there, and I'm probably going to be pulling this engine and transmission, so I'll probably have to go ask for her help again. But again, stay tuned. I kind of feel like I'm just like repeating the same shit over and over again, but stay tuned. We're just going to continue blowing this thing apart. Oof. We're making some work happen, but some friends come over and we had maybe a few too many drinks. And now we are going to bed. So it's going to be tomorrow before we get back on it. But the accessories are off and the water pump is off. But somebody rolled in transmission fluid. So you need a bath before you go to bed. So tomorrow is another day. Back to work. Say bye. Say bye. All right. A couple days later again, and I need to actually service the wife's daily. So I need to get the F1 Hundo out of here, which is cool because it's like 40, which to me is warm enough to drive it to the gym. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get my swole on for a minute. Probably go beat the piss out of Sandy for a little while, and then probably move this mess over there. Do some practical daily maintenance real quick, and then probably come back, get this engine and transmission out. Let old girl get some 10th in her. We're gonna go get a swole on. Damn, I love this thing. She sounds good. Boom! Got the front end out of the way. Moving on to some maintenance on the wife's truck real quick. And that's going to allow me the opportunity to just throw a fit and point out why I don't like messing with new shit. First and foremost, EcoBoost 2012. anything and everything on this truck, especially with inflation, the prices are like, what the fuck, to get shit done. Luckily, I do have a buddy who he did timing chains and everything on this for us. Otherwise, like that timing chain, cam phaser job and everything, that's like a $3,000–4,000+ job. And that's something you need to consider if you want an EcoBoost or even a 5.0. That job is gonna have to get done. Like, these trucks are notorious for those phasers going bad. That timing chain stretches and smacks the timing cover. So, and I don't think that's necessarily warranted. It might be, depending on your mileage. But be prepared to swallow that bitter tasting pill. Is coughing up another $4,000 to have that job done. And just another thing real quick. If you have regular sized hands, not little itty bitty guys.
I have these tiny hands.
They're not that tiny.
They are that tiny.
You have to remove a section of the intake tube because the oil filter is on the front of the engine and sits flat instead of vertical. So it's super pain in the butt to get to, and it makes a mess when you pull it off. And none of my other stuff would ever do that to me. But enough bitching about new stuff. I'm gonna get this job done and then get back on that one. Before I continue forward here, there is some sort of liquid mess on what feels like every section of my floor right now. I gotta lay out. I'm going nuts. I gotta lay down some floor dry and let this shit soak up a little bit before I carry on. But that mess, that's another super annoying thing about those modern EcoBoosts, is with that oil filter being in the front. When you pop them off, there's not really any way to catch it. I'm sure maybe the dealership has a trick. I'm not the dealership. So when you take out that filter, it hits the skid plate and then it just goes everywhere and completely avoids the oil pan, the oil drain pan. So that's how that annoying mess happened. But yeah, I gotta clean up the mess because I'm getting ready to pull my hair out. So when we come back, I'll have this mess cleaned up because it's really on my last nerve. Okay, guys, just kind of letting the mess soak up a little bit. Went ahead, started working on pulling the drive shaft, and I found something that was rubbing. It's got me a bit annoyed because it's metal on metal, and it has me wondering if that wasn't the screech that I heard when I fired the truck up. But the engine is apart now, so you kind of can't determine if that was it. But I'll get you down in here. You can see right here on this edge, we were kind of rubbing all the way around, and let me see if I can get you into where it was. I don't know if I can get your eyes where my eyes were. They're not. Right here. The rub spot. Looks like that exhaust was rubbing that drive shaft quite well. So that kind of sucks. But I mean, at this point in time, we've got it disassembled this far. I'm not gonna lie, that sucks. I mean, and I don't know if that was it. It sounded like a pretty aggressive metal on metal. Man, that would almost be a little bit embarrassing, I guess, if that's all that was. I didn't run or build that exhaust or anything. It was on there when we got the truck. But having some peanut butter in there and having that injector dumping fuel in it the way that it was, and like I said, last time I checked that oil, it was thin from how much fuel that it had in it. So, as annoying as that may be, I'm gonna go ahead, again, the transmission needs rebuilt, and I've gone this far, so I'm just gonna go ahead, yank everything out. Bearings and rings are cheap. Silver gaskets, I would rather have the assurance and confidence that everything is good rather than assume that's what it was. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the drive shaft rolled out, undo cross member bolts, motor mounts, get the get the headers unbolted because you can't pull those with the motor. So that's where we're gonna be when we come back. Okay, so I may have done a combination of bit off just a smidgen more than I can chew for one episode and lied to you a little bit. I really wanted to get this engine and transmission out of here in this episode. I mean, though that was a lot of work and I have tons of other personal things going on. Like I said, the garage is an absolute mess. Pair that with the fact that I just found out that this drum has locked up, so I couldn't even roll the truck out of its own mess, which basically left me working in said mess. And then combine that with the fact that since pretty much everything I work on is old, all my tools are standard. I don't have a lot of metric stuff. And to get this transmission out, I do need some like deep well 18 millimeters and shit like that. And I don't have them. I did modify a couple of my standard tools that kind of let me get by to do just a couple things, but I'm at the point where like I need specifically, like I think it's a deep well 18 that I need to get the transmission cross member and stuff unbolted. So that's pretty much where I'm gonna wrap this engine up. Yeah, I'm wrapping this engine up because I'm done with it. I'm done with this truck. Every time I work on this truck, it makes me mad. Yeah, we're gonna get this thing out of here. Once it's out, we'll pull the heads off of it, pull the pan off of it, rotate her around, make sure that injector being stuck open didn't, cause any scoring or anything like that. If so, we'll throw rings and bearings at it, slap the heads back on, have somebody maybe even take a stab at rebuilding the transmission myself. I know that can be a pretty big job. I've never done it. I do have some pretty smart friends that I probably trust to do. But yeah, guys, I think this is enough for one episode. That was a lot of work, and I keep trying to push forward and push forward and push forward and make this happen. And I just keep getting more flustered and flustered and flustered, and that makes me really want to not work on it. So I'm gonna take the time, clean this garage up because it's an absolute pigsty, as you can see. And next episode, I'll grab some metric tools and keep on blowing this thing apart. So thanks for tuning in. We just maxed 1,200 subs, which is awesome. So yeah, just tune back in. We're gonna keep working on this. Sandy she's not gonna be complete. Side bit, she's not getting pushed to the side. We still got shock brackets to do. I got that line lock. I still got that MSD box over there I need to install. She's definitely not backburnered, but the channel is definitely going to lean more towards the lightning now because there's just so much work to do on this truck. So if you want to see some lightning stuff, give me a subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, man. Just come hang out. Deuces.